Stereotypes are not always true, but they do exist for a reason. So if you feel you can't handle how I talk trash about your main, I recommend you click off the video now.
DPS mains as tag kings. Oh, Genji mains. You are some of the people who's toxic as hell, thinking you're actually hilarious and just being edgy. Now you're probably writing up a comment saying, hey, I'm not toxic. But try to remember, the last game, you didn't write either tank diff or support diff when you lost a match. Yeah, that's what I thought. Genji mains are mainly average players. You get a good blade here and there, but just kidding. This is literally you as soon as you blade. And then we have the good ones. And let me tell you, they are good. They got their techniques down, knowing your dash combos and how much damage each combo does down to the decimal. You've probably spent hours upon hours playing Genji, because the first time you booted up Overwatch and looked at the heroes, you said, man see ninja, man happy, and just went with it. You get so upset when they nerf your damage, so you no longer shake the bat notes, as you know they probably got nerfed. Instead, you boot up the game and jump in the match as soon as you can to be able to complain about low damage, as you always have an excuse for playing like shit. You actually do need healing, but unfortunately, not in Overwatch. You need to get kicked by Zenyatta to a meditative journey at a monk shrine for a couple of years just to get rid of all that dirty R34 Overwatch comics you've read and hatred you've built up playing Overwatch and having Annas neglect you. If you have a Mercy on your team and they do not actually pocket you, you treat the Mercy as if she was cheating on you in real life and start acting up. But even worse is when you have an Ana who chooses to not nano boost you and instead nano boost the tank. You can single-handedly throw the game out of spite of not getting your cool play for your montage.
No one can hide from my sight.
You are the true definition of hit or miss. I believe that people that main Widow probably do it for her absolute badonkadonk of a behind. As soon as there's no enemies, you find a corner and do an emote just to zoom in on that ass screaming open sesame and just praying someone will answer your prayer. As a Widow enjoyer, I know there are days where you can pop the absolute off and tap heads left and right, but then there are days when you whiff the 10th shot on a Zenyatta standing still in the open and people start treating you like you're worth as much as the stone stuck under your shoes. You would probably say to the team, no, this is my plan. Make them think I suck and then I turn on. But you know that that's just copium talking. As a Widow main, you probably never start talking in voice chat. You know as soon as you say a word, people are going to flame the absolute shit of you for not hitting the shots, causing them to die. So you stay quiet inside your little spiraling badonkadonk bubble, although as soon as you get a certain amount of picks in a row, you build up a confidence to start talking, but then realize why you've stayed quiet. You're probably saying to your team, don't worry, I'll swap if I don't get picks in the first 30 seconds. 3 minutes later, you're still standing on top of King's raw attack spawn, not hitting a single enemy.
This ends now.
Now, if you main Sojourn, you probably fell in love with her when she was at her prime. Remember those good old days when you could one-shot enemies with a full charge? Yeah, I do too. Now, even though the fact that, Sojourn is not as strong as she used to be, she is still one of those heroes who I personally think are just so much fun picking up and playing as a Sojourn enjoyer. But now if you main Sojourn, you probably have nightly dreams of her dominating you with those big-ass thunder thighs and shoving that pulse rifle up your... Let's just hope that after all they've removed from Sojourn, they don't remove her thighs as well. Most Sojourn enjoyers, not mains, are people who main Soldier and pick her as soon as Soldier's taken. For your personality, you're most likely dominant and don't like when other people tell you what to do or when to do it. Overall, as a Sojourn main, I would say you're good at the game. You know where to position and can maneuver your spells to the teeth.
It's Hanu.
If you main Cassidy, yes, his name is Cassidy. I know a bunch of you Overwatch 1 players love calling him McCree, but there's a reason they changed his name, and you just have to accept that someday. There are not a lot of Cassidy mains these days. Cassidy mains are one of the originals. If you main him, I can almost bet that you will not swap hero, even if you need to. Because you say to your team, I'm still hitting my shots, you guys are trash, after shooting at Roadhog's toast for 5 minutes straight. Cassidy mains are the people who take all their strength and convincing, trying to make the support swap to Mercy because you will carry the game if you get a pocket. If you don't get your way, you will cry like a baby and double down that sole reason is why you lost the game because you didn't have a pocket. If you actually manage to convince your supports to go Mercy, you will all of a sudden not hit a single shot. You probably always had a vendetta against Reaper players. That vendetta has now turned, and now you can disable the Wraith form with your grenade. Taking down a Fire Mercy combo alone is one of Cassidy's nightmares, and it's probably one of the reasons you tilt most of the games you play. I would say there are two types of Echo mains. Number one is the little kitten bots. And number 2 is the ultimate Megatron Galactus Anal Destroyer.exe. The little kitten bots are the Echoes who will start maining Echo because you think she looks cool. You don't know how to use your flying mechanics, so you end up on the wrong side of the roofs all the time without doing any damage to the enemy team. Suddenly, you land next to a Reinhardt and they instantly kill you. At this point, you will probably demand your team to switch to a Mercy to help keep you alive. But we all know there's no point in 2 people dying all the time. When you actually do fight the enemies, you're probably standing on the ground spamming your spells. These are 9 out of 10 times the echoes I get in my games. Now, the ultimate Megatron Galactus Anal Destroyer.exe mains are something else. If you're playing against this type of echo main and forgot to look at the sky for a split second, they will come in and fondle your balls and instantly kill you without you even realizing she was there. You've spent time on every single hero just so you can learn to diff anyone who looks at you funny. You are a dom when it comes to humans and wouldn't let anyone else decide things for you. But secretly, you deal with robots doing whatever they want to you for hours. If you main Torbjorn, you're probably one of the most chill and laid back people of Overwatch. But you also don't really use your entire brain when you're playing. You think you're doing enough because your turret is doing a lot of damage for you and you're getting a lot of kills with it. When you're actually playing, I can bet you're shooting your left click at a show and just letting Jesus take the wheel and hope to get headshots. But then there are of course also the real Torbjorn mains. And you probably know which ones I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Torbjorn mains who knows 31 different turret spots for every map and run after all Mercies and Anas you can see with your hammer having lava flying out of your ass. Now after you get those hammer kills on the Mercy and the Anas, you write some of the most obscene things in all chat. These things might make the Overwatch devs want to quit their jobs on the spot and go to therapy. Although getting a kill with a hammer is one of the most thrilling things in Overwatch. For Torbjorn mains, I really hope you don't watch any Rule 34s of him. I've never seen any of these, but neither do I want to. I didn't even do any research for it. So here's just me hoping you all stay clear of that. If you main Sombra, I assume you feel really misunderstood. Sombra is probably the DPS who gets flamed the most and asks to help the team, when you know you've been hacking all the enemy health packs and spawn killing the Mercy for the 10th time. Yet, you probably stay quiet as you know that you're actually helping the team without them even knowing. I would however say this is mainly the case if you're under diamond rank. As much as you love hacking the balls out of people in teamfights, you can't resist the urge to spawn camp the squishy heroes. Having the entire enemy team help a single player out when you're spawn camping them is the stuff your dreams are made of. With the recent rework of Sombra, she's got a lot of new mains. You new mains are probably playing her as she's supposed to be played. As oldies in Overwatch, we still miss our teleporter sitting at a health pack for 2 minutes, just waiting for the right opportunity to strike. You must have some obscene thirst in spawn killing Mercies and Widowmakers. You love seeing their rage in all chat being like, really Sombra again? And giggling for yourself. Either way, if you play Sombra and you're below plat, please switch main. Please.
Do something!
If you main Ashe, not the Pokemon trainer, the hero, you're probably pretty good at Cassidy and Widowmaker and decided you wanted more in your kit. With more in your kit, I mean you wanted a tall metal man being there for you in any time of need and be completely in your demand. Any type of demand. If you main Ashe, you probably already know that there's only one skin you can use to get the most out of Ashe. It's the one where you see how goddamn freaking sexy Bob is. You call yourself a go-getter and think you can accomplish anything as long as you have yourself and everyone listens to you. Yet, much like other DPS heroes, you're one of the biggest crybabies as soon as Mercy won't give you the blue sucky suck. As soon as you don't have the beam on you for even 5 seconds, you can start screaming at your Mercy, complaining how the Mercy is throwing the game, getting them to start healing your tank, or even have the nightmare come true of them switching to a Moira. Either you absolutely carry the shit out of your game, hitting only headshots throughout the entire game, or you can't hit if your life had depended on it and throw for your team. And as soon as someone flames you for not getting a kill, the instant response is, sorry, I was out of ammo. Now, Bastion is one of those heroes who's gone through so many changes to his kit. If you're one of those Bastion mains who've been through them all, you, sir, are one technosexual person. If you don't know what that is, look it up. Having all these other heroes that are either sexy, cool, or interesting, you choose a f***ing robot? Why? People probably say that you have no skill. They say all you do is spray and pray. Although I will give you that Bastions who actually know about positioning and cover usage are not only spray and pray. You are more think, spray and pray. You're probably a pretty fun and outgoing person who likes to talk in voice chat. You could talk about how good your boba tea was that you had 3 weeks ago for the whole game. Even if people complain at you for talking about random you just keep yapping. I would say that you are the equivalent of a Reinhardt main that plays DPS. And if you haven't seen my take on Reinhardt, you can see it here. If you main Hanzo, you probably don't anymore. I'm going, however, to talk about Hanzo as he was before the recent nerfs. Now, if you main Hanzo, you're probably sick of hearing that Hanzo is all luck, no skill. Although this hero does take skill, contrary to what people think. I know the pain of getting one-shotted by a Hanzo shooting randomly at a show, but honestly, it really doesn't happen as often as you think. You feel comfortable sitting the furthest back from a fight, having no danger at all occur to you, and just being able to one-shot people 100 meters away. You're probably pretty calm in real life, and likes to take things slow. You might even have some built-up sadness that you try not to think about until you start singing karaoke, just like Hanzo. You're not a very outgoing person and prefer to be alone with your thoughts. Although as soon as some alcohol hit your body, you can party like there's no tomorrow. As much as I would love to say that Junkrat is one of the easiest heroes to play, in higher elo, I have no idea how you actually manage to do it. In lower elos, Junkrat players only shoot randomly, just praying to God that they hit something. As you rank up with Junkrat, you'll learn skills that definitely isn't applicable to anything else in life or any other Overwatch hero. Somehow, you learn the exact trajectory of a grenade launched at 43° left upwards angle that will boop the descending echo on her head, and no longer need to think when you're firing the shot, you just fire them. I think no Junkrat main is truly sane, but you are for sure dedicated. If you put your mind to something, there's nothing that can stop you, except for Reinhardt. But when you hit a support hero, you can chase that support hero to the end of times, just to get that sweet relief of you exploding them into bits and pieces. In high ranks, people mainly use the tire to kill the supports in the backline. This is something that I, as a mainly support player, absolutely hate. You mains are actually evil. You love spawn camping the support, spamming your voice line. Hang in there. And as a support, I know that I can't do jack shit versus a Mei blasting me with cry.
I don't want to do this no more.
If you get solo ulted by a Mei, you feel like you're standing in front of the stage of 30 people and you're completely butt naked and unable to move. People who main Mei have mastered the art of ice dildos. I'm not talking about blocking the enemies from their team. I'm talking about the Mei walls that could block Kiriko ultis, Roadhog hook, and Reinhardt channers. These ice walls are some of the scariest things in Overwatch.
Justice reigns from above.
Now, let's say it once and for all. Pharah mains are the biggest mercy whiners. As soon as you get into a game, the first question you pop is probably, can we have a mercy? As you insta-lock Pharah. If you're a Pharah main, you refuse to ever switch your hero. It does not matter if the enemy team plays Ashe, Soldier, Baptiste, and Ana to counter you. You continue playing Pharah, as you secretly don't know any other DPS heroes. The more damage a Pharah main does, the more ego you get. But as soon as you hear the phrase, can we swap off Pharah, your ego gets completely shattered. Therefore, I don't think Pharah mains have it all that easy. I don't know who would choose to main Pharah. You can shoot at a running soldier and hit all your shots just by muscle memory. You probably have wet dreams about Mercy's suck, giving you the blue suck for the entire game. Now, this is what keeps you going and motivated to jump into another game of 20 deaths and all counters.
I've got you in my sights.
If you main soldier, you are a lone wolf. You love his kit and being able to survive on your own. You picked up Soldier because you were new and you came from other FPS games, and he was what you felt most comfortable with. Either you come from CSGO, Apex, or COD, he's a good mix between them all. But if you main Soldier now, you probably only play Soldier, simply because everything else feels wacky and you perform like shit. Most likely, you're spending 80% of your time in Overwatch in aim labs, trying to learn how to get that perfect recoil and follow accuracy. You Soldier mains always complain about how they're doing the most and topping the damage charge, but all you did all game was shoot at a Roadhog. Besides that, you're probably an average Overwatch enjoyer who don't play it too much, but every time you do play, it's life or death if you win or lose. Oh, Symmetra. You probably don't understand why you annoy the absolute shit of everyone else, but let me break it down for you. As a Symmetra main, you are not really playing a very challenging hero. As soon as things don't go well for you, you start complaining on everything and everyone, and what they did and what they did wrong. Yes, of course, there are the top 500 Symmetras who are actually skilled at Symmetra and knows her in and outs, but the rest of you Symmetra mains are scums. You play her on every map and don't really know anything else. You put your teleports up and scream at your team to take them to simply end up at the enemy front line with your supports and dying. Then, of course, you have to flame them for not doing anything.
Special delivery.
If you're one of the true Tracer mains, you are probably one of the most scary players in Overwatch. You have such an incredible awareness of what's happening around you that you catch a fly in its wing. If you've ever played against a really good Tracer, you know that you start feeling it's pointless to even react when she starts doing laps around you. You are the definition of a DPS glass cannon. You can never let your guard down, as almost every other hero can one-shot you if you forget yourself for a small second. Just like the old Meis and Sombras, you love spawn camping the enemy supports. After killing
killing them for the 4th time and spamming, "Ever get that feeling of deja vu?" You crack down laughing so hard. As a Tracer main, I believe you are pretty cocky, as you know that you are better than most people playing Overwatch. But that's okay, because we know it too.
Excavation initiation!
Now, Venture is so new that there are probably no real mains yet and not much to say. Although one thing I can say for sure is that Venture mains are going to be the previous Sombra and Tracer mains who transitions into a more versatile hero. Venture has abilities like no other Overwatch hero, and so far playing them and against them is really bad and good at the same time. I have encountered a couple of good Ventures who has been already figured them out piece by piece and completely destroying me in 1v1s. Now, I don't really have an issue yet with Venture players, so therefore you dodged the bullet this time. If you main Reaper, one might assume that you as a person is dark and filled with vengeance towards anyone that ever wronged you. However, that's usually not the case. Alright, take some exocopium now, Reaper mains. You need to hear this. Reaper mains are a bunch of little brats who think they're always right. Almost every Reaper main I've played against have complained the entire game, always attacking the worst performing player on your team. We get it. You see yourself as a villain in your story, and you kinda give off the same main character energy as a Doomfist main, but being a villain doesn't mean you need to be petty and blame everything on everyone else. And you're not like some other DPS mains who complain but still play decent yourself. You simply complain as soon as you have 200 more damage than the other DPS at a second DPS diff, as you 5 seconds later Beyblade alone into the enemy team just to get insta-slapped. Now, if you're a Reaper enjoyer, none of this I said before applies to you. You switch to Reaper to have fun or to counter a monster. Now, I do have a sidebar, and that is that I think a Reaper main is a total phase. Something that you have to grow out of when you've learned that everything is not always other people's fault. But until then, just keep Beyblading. Kiriko. Now, Kiriko is a very tricky hero to stereotype, as she is the most played Overwatch hero as of right now. I could say that it's just the Discord mods and the e-girls wearing cat ears playing her, but that's just a very small percentile. Let me try and break it down for you. Kiriko mains are the people who actually want to play a balanced hero that both combines damage and healing, although I've yet to see a Kiriko being able to pull off these things at the same time. I also believe that most Kiriko mains are the people who tried maining Genji, but every time you ulted, you got shut down by Ana, so instead you become Ana's most hated support. Kiriko is, as you know, Blizzard's golden girl, cash cow, pump and dump, whatever you want to call her. She's now the poster child of Overwatch 2 and gets everything she wants. I would imagine that people who main her are a little bit similar. You want to get whatever you have your eyes on and won't take no for an answer.
I am approaching you with sexual intent.
When Kiriko released, you swapped from Ana and Moira because you found out Kiriko puts Ana on a leash and makes Moira look as dry as BB Eldris's diss tracks. Kiriko's. You guys over-communicate. Just like other support mains, you talk a lot, but you really don't have to yell out every second that's left until you have your TP or Susu again.
Can you shut the fuck up?
You're a joke.
Every game I get with a Kiriko, they are screaming out in comms, "I TP'd!" assuming that it would make any difference whatsoever. Please, we see you guys, you don't have to yell it out. There are two things that really get Kiriko mains going. Number one is getting those dings with your kunais. When you get those, you start feeling like you're Naruto, just ninja running down, throwing the rest of your 14 kunais and missing them all. Number two, shutting people's ultimate down with your Susu. When you hear those Reinhardt shatters, D.Va bombs, Junker Queen ultimates, and so on, you get some sort of heightened sense of exactly when you need to use your Susu to block the entire ultimate. Number three is definitely being a furry. Oh, wait, did I say two things? Sorry, my bad. As a person, you are most likely quite shy around people, but amongst your friends, you are the joker of the group. You probably wish that you could have a fox in real life, just like Kiriko. You've probably also mastered the art of knowing when shit hits the fan, and when you need to get out of there to survive and leave your team behind. You Kiriko mains are truly silly little goofs. Ana. If you main Ana, you are the Reinhardt of the support role. You're a complete Chad. You probably have 200 pounds of lean muscles, either in your body or your brain. To win or to lose is not the most important factor for you. All you want is a competitive game where you feel like you can let loose. When you, Ana, let loose, you guys go into some sort of Super Saiyan mode. All of a sudden, you trigger some sort of heightened sense as if you had aimbot and you can't miss a single shot or a single sleep dart. Usually, you guys are extremely calculated and have a laid-back playstyle. Although as soon as you hit that sleep dart, and you know which one I'm talking about, you become a soul-sucking fucking sadistic demon. Nothing else except you and the sleeping target exists. You start pinging your team as if everyone should drop everything to just watch Genji sleep. If you don't get help killing that Genji, you could throw out some of the most terrifying things to touch human ears in voice chat, and then after 10 seconds go back to your shot calling calculated self. Most Ana mains like being the background leader. You want to seem tough and untouchable, but you're actually very vulnerable to emotional damage. As soon as someone comes at you for how you are as a person or how you played the game, your mentality and self-esteem goes into complete shambles, and this is what keeps you up at night. If you main Ana, you have the desire to be cuddled and protected. This probably comes from doing all the protection yourself in game. You have some sort of weird secret praise kink. This is because you're always trying to keep everyone's HP up while trying to land successful antis, yet you feel your teammates never appreciate you or what you do. Although as soon as you get some praise by your team, you'll whip up some kawaii stuff in chat like ooh 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 sniffles, thank you team. Baptiste. If you main Baptiste, most likely you are either a Hardstock Silver and decided to give Bap a try and realize that your aim is absolute trash and get a paralyzing wave of embarrassment for earlier blaming the DPS for not getting picks, yet you probably continue to blame them. Or you're a DPS main who got tired of never getting any heals, so you switch to only playing Bap as a DPS and amounting to only healing yourself as well. Baptiste is one of the strongest and most versatile support heroes, so most likely you have an extreme ego, constantly checking the stats to see who you're above in numbers and who you can flame the absolute shit out of for doing more damage than them. Unfortunately, that is something that I 100% also do. If you main Baptiste, I would say that you don't mind doing the same things over and over again without getting either bored or tired. You probably had the same breakfast for the past 5 years, and without that breakfast, you don't feel the same. Your daily routine is probably 1. Wake up, 2. Eat 4 hard-boiled eggs, 3. Get into aim training, 4. Play Overwatch for 12 hours, 5. Masturbate and cry yourself to sleep. As you see in your daily schedule, you don't have time for any showers. This is something that all of us would be extremely grateful for if you started doing. As a Baptiste main, you are not spontaneous. You have everything meticulously planned out. Therefore, playing a different hero is not something you would be interested in even a little bit. As soon as you pick up someone else than Bat, you simply don't function. You start screaming like a baby and crying out how much better you would be if the person who stole Baptiste from you. In these scenarios, most of you would go and pick up Kiriko or Moira, or we get the nightmare of you picking Lucio. Oh dear. Lucio. If you main Lucio, you love being fast, but even more, you have all your life been someone who loves to prank and annoy people. You have not played a game of Overwatch that you legitimately tried to win in the past 3 years. Instead, all you care about is finding out the weak links in the enemy team and annoying the life out of them until they quit the game. At this point, your team will most likely be yelling some horrible stuff in voice chat at you for not being in a single team fight. Instead of reacting, you probably say stuff like rabbit or boop, knowing this will annoy the absolute shit out of them even more. As a person, you're likely quite slow. Not slow as in brain-wise, you just move kind of slow and like to be unpredictable in your movement in real life and in game. You're a really relaxed and chill person. When being around other people, most likely, as I said before, you try to be the clown of the group. You're always trying to find new ways to prank your friends and make everyone laugh. Although as soon as you are by yourself, you become your introverted self again. If you main Lucio, you're someone who loves listening to music. Oh shit. Although instead of speedy beats, you most likely listen to sad songs and counter music. This is because most of you Lucio mains are unfortunately depressed. Playing a loud-ass frog all day is what makes you feel a little bit better. Unlike other players, you actually enjoy the game most of the time. This is something I totally understand, as I love playing Lucio from time to time. The only time you sweat more than a Swedish person in Africa during the summer is when you practice wall riding. Although as soon as you bring this into real game, you completely black out and forget everything and start pulling up wall riding tutorials on your second monitor. Either way, I respect you wall riding frogs, but please stop saying you're a frogger. Bro, you're not him. Mercy. As a Mercy main, I'm certain you're always crying about being the main target for ultimates. As soon as you hear a junk wheel, you shit your pants harder than Mr. Beast after Dogpack drops a new video. What's up with that? Let me give you a quick insight in what I think a Mercy main's day look like. You guys wake up in your pink queen-sized bed, say good morning to all of your Hello Kitty squishy melons, skip breakfast of course, message each of your online boyfriend to remind them your Nature subscription is running out soon. Then hop on Overwatch for 12 hours to spectate on Mercy. Alright. Mercy, mostly the character, gets so much shit. Mercy mains don't really bring much to the table. But you give the best mental support and you cheer people on through thick and thin. But that's when you actually choose to join voice chat. Most Mercy mains I see are a Discord kitten pocket healer duo queuing with their sadie and not wanting to talk to anyone else in their team. You're the type of person who will always be one of the kindest people on the team, as long as things go in your favor. If someone either A, blames you for anything bad, or B, asks you to switch off Mercy, you will start yelling stuff that could probably put you behind bars for 4 years. issues. You have separation issues, and that's why you probably choose Mercy in the first place. You're always connected to someone, and on your own you don't do very much, and felt Mercy was right up your alley. As a person, you're most likely quite shy, but very loving. After getting flamed and cursing everyone out, you most likely want to be cuddled and not play Overwatch anymore, until your Discord daddy calls, of course. You live off the validations you get from others. When people say that you're playing well, or did something very good, you can't even handle the amount of emotions you feel. This is why you always want to keep hearing this and try to be the cute, helpful Mercy main. Unfortunately, this usually doesn't go well, and you end up getting flamed instead. This is the unfortunate circle of a Mercy main. But as a Mercy main, you're most likely off practicing Mercy parkour and not watching this video right now. But either way, I do love a Mercy pocketing me, so thank you for that. Brigitte. As a Swedish person myself, I do feel responsibility for respecting the people playing one of the 2 Swedish heroes in the game. But I'm sorry, I could not do it. I simply wish she wasn't Swedish. First off, her name is Brigitte. That is how you would pronounce it in Sweden. They realized they had to monkey down the name for the rest of the people to understand. You need to stop spamming Sha in-game. Her voice line of Sha makes my entire body crumble with disgust. Somehow, if you main Brigitte, you're surprisingly skilled at the game, but not where it actually matters for you to win the game. You know how the game works, what kind of lineups and team comps do best together, yet you would never realize you should switch off this lollipop swinging Swedish girl and play something that works. Like the one-eyed grandma. If you main Brigitte, you probably feel as it's never your fault if you lose the game. You probably try and find anyone who did anything out of the ordinary and put blame onto them instead. This is also the only time you use your voice chat, because other times you are a quiet player. You only use the in-game commands to do your calls in order to team around with it. Although when your team actually wins, you would never brag out about how good you played like a Zen main would. Instead, you sit down and you drink your humble coffee and queue for the next game. I'm sorry, Brigitte mains, but with all due respect, you guys have no aim whatsoever. You fling your weapon around as if it was your mom's dildo you found when you were 10 years old. You don't know what it is or what it does. You're just swinging and hoping for the best. You miss 50% of the whip shots you throw simply because you want to keep your passive up instead of saving it for when you can actually kill someone. Anyhow, as I said, you guys are good as long as you're over plat. If you're only playing Brigitte under plat, please consider uninstalling or swapping hero. Lifeweaver. If you main Lifeweaver, I can almost guarantee that you used to main Mercy, but get tired of everyone calling you a twink, so you switched main into the twinkiest of them all. Jokes aside, I do love a good Lifeweaver. He has one of the highest skill caps in Overwatch, which means if you can learn every angle of his abilities, you can do absolute wonders. You can stop ultimates, deflect almost every ability while also healing most in your team. But then there's those other Lifeweavers. You probably know which one I'm talking about. The Lifeweavers who will pull you out as soon as you pop Blade on Genji. Yeah, those types. These Lifeweavers are the ones who makes me want to uninstall Overwatch and get into gardening just so I can spawn a life tree up their ass. If you main Lifeweaver, I'm pretty sure you're usually watching TikTok while spamming left click on the tank. Lifeweaver mains are, how should I put it, a special breed amongst Overwatch players. You guys will not rage at anyone. Instead, you will pull out the craziest diss of all time mentioning the other person's mother, father, or girlfriend. These disses will shatter the souls of everyone. It makes people rethink their life decisions. But as long as everything is well, you just like Mercy mains don't really talk too much. You have wet dreams of pulling off an Orisa ultimate pull and killing the entire enemy team. So as soon as your Orisa has ultimate ready, you scream, "Don't ulti, I have a plan, trust me," just to again fail completely throwing Orisa off the map. If you are the first type of Lifeweavers, I love you. If you are the second type of Lifeweaver mains, consider playing Roblox instead. Zenyatta. If you main Zenyatta, you like being the carry of the team and will flaunt every possible chance you get. When you win a game, there won't be anyone in the closest 1,000 yards that won't know. Although when you lose, you stay absolute silent. Just like Bat mains, you mostly play DPS but got tired of dying all the time. So you figured you would turn to the 10-handed old man that throws the balls at children and old men and women, but also heals. You most likely don't realize you have 4 other players on your team. In your head, it's you versus the enemies. You put your healing orb on the tank and then forget your healing orb even exists. Your teammates are most likely yelling at you, but you left voice chat as soon as you joined the game, blasting some hardcore music louder than a jet plane engine. You might play other supports now and again, but as soon as someone yells at you, you will quick scope the Zenyatta lock. There are 2 heroes that you wish would burn in hell. That's Sombra and Tracer. These heroes will run laps around you, making you feel like a clown juggling your balls. Most likely, You'll keep trying to 1v1 them. Even after losing 9 1v1s in a row, you just keep dying. When you one-shot a squishy with shard shot, you get the sensation as if you won the lottery. Then instantly learn your plays when that tracer comes around to fondle your balls. As a person, you're not at all like Zenyatta. You're hectic and won't sit down for a small second. You're probably quite immature around your friends and tell jokes that no one else can understand, so you can sit there laughing for yourself. Either way, I do love one part about you Zenyatta mains. That's when you solo ult to win 1v1s. That shit's just the best. Moira. Oh, Moira. I don't really like Moira. Not as a character, but not really you Moira mains either. At least not when you play Overwatch. In game, you have a toxic and annoying personality. Not all of you, but most of you. You think you're extremely good at the game and won't for a second realize that all you're doing is healing yourself and tickling the enemies. Most likely, you're deep into the enemy backline, screaming in voice, "Where the fuck is my team?" and dying on your own. When you find a little Ana on her own, you become a comically evil person. You will jump around her 5 times before you kill her, and after that, you're probably writing question marks in all chat, asking if grandma is sleeping. Outside of Overwatch, you're a very nice and kind person. You're most likely someone who loves to invite all your friends to cookouts and arrange parties. It's just that as soon as you boot up Overwatch, you become a completely different person. No one understands why. Probably not you either. You're just built that way. If you main Moira, you probably played a lot of Mercy as well, since neither of these heroes require any sort of aim. But as soon as someone flames you on Mercy, you insta-swap to Moira to keep going in the enemy's backline. You Moira mains love seeing your stats go up, but fail to realize that you don't really have any powerful utilities or impact to actually win a fight. All you have is hand piss and hand suck, yet you're probably saying that you have the most healing and the most damage. Kinda funny how you have 20k damage with 4 kills, right? Please shut up. Illari. Why is it that every Illari that I come across has 15,000 damage using their fun dipstick, making DPS look like they're useless, unimpactful, unappreciated, worthless, good for nothing? Why play a spider bitch when you can literally be a superwoman with a better passive and heal your team? If you main Illari, you're most likely someone who wants to control every situation. You want to be the leader of the team, but die as soon as the fight begins because you were out of position. Also, for the Illari mains that didn't know, you actually have another healing ability besides your turret. Try right click next time you play. Illari mains are the equivalent to orangutans hitting the zoo window trying to escape when it comes to game knowledge. Trust me, I main Illari. The sole focus that you have is trying to headshot people with your little piss shots, and if anything else happens, you could not give a fuck. I think Illari is for the people who used to main Baptiste but felt as he had no escapes and no utility. Now you can jump around all you want and keep shooting people, having your healing turret all by yourself. As a person, you are probably very quiet. You like to have things under control and can't really handle stressful situations. You were not the shy kid in school, but you weren't the loud one either. You're very vanilla when it comes to everything and anything, and you're completely fine with that. When ulting as Illari, you cannot do anything but try to get that 5-man ult, but what you end up doing is dying as soon as you fly up in the air. It's not like you actually use the ultimate to ult the supports to only kill them. No. You need to attempt that 5-man ult to get your entire team to flame you. Either way, you guys are cool, not biased, because you don't make a lot of noise in voice chat. Just please start using your healing beams as well. Juno. Although I can see it in the shadows, the Mercy mains are starting to find a new host body to cling on to. It might not be very clear yet, but I can feel it in my fingers. It's gonna be Juno. Juno is so new that there's not much to say about her, but most likely there's no one who would want to get close to maining Juno, not even with a 5-foot stick. From my experience of playing Juno, she's as impactful as Lucio speed boosting the push robot. I don't really know what she's good for, either playing her or having her on your team. I'm guessing she's gonna get giga buffed, and a month after this video is out, people are gonna come at me for ranting on her. But as of right now, please don't main Juno. Please don't play Juno. You're not doing anything for your team. Thanks. Junker Queen. I believe that Junker Queen mains are the previous DPS mains who always complained that a tank diff and decided to take it into their own hands. Someone who can't stand still for longer than 5 seconds, and their biggest nightmares are number 1, Ryan shield standoffs, and number 2, Kiriko susus. I strongly believe Junker Queen mains all have their own Discord DOMs, and addressing them as mommy is required by their blood contract. Junker Queen mains are not really going to give out calls in voice chat. They're going to scream, "Where's the heals?" when ulting into 5 enemies alone, fully knowing their team was not with them. Either way, I've also hit those accelerating clutch knives and felt like I'm going to main Junker Queen for my entire life. Then I realized I don't want my balls stepped on and switched. Reinhardt. You are a total shad. When you get into a game, you probably make callouts like, "Let's get this win through teamwork, team." If you were born during the Middle Ages, you would be one of the greatest knights, protecting all the lost maidens and taking them to your home for protection. Although you probably have some trust issues from the maidens who have used and left you, you would still continue protecting them all as it's in your honor. Unfortunately now, you're just being looked at like a Discord mod, having a bunch of Discord kittens that you whisper, "Good morning, hope your day goes well." People might view you as a bit of a cringe, but for you, there's only glory in the chase. You would, however, never disrespect a woman or a man, as long as they respect you. But if someone messes with someone you love, you could probably punch them through 32 floors of a high-rise building, without blinking twice. You play Reinhardt not because he's good or meta. You play him as a part of your own storyline. You don't really care about your rank. You just want to play whatever you enjoy, and you're completely fine with that. The one thing that will give you tears is having the enemy tank switch onto Reinhardt and having a Reinhardt 1v1 for all the glory. It gives you hope for humanity. Whether or not you win or lose, you don't switch and neither do them. The game is only for honor and not victory. You probably have some deep-rooted mythical sense of knowing when the other Reinhardt is going to shatter and can in a millisecond put your shield up to block it. The only negative I have here is that you need to learn how to play with your healers and supports and not charging in off cooldown. Besides that, I have no problems with Reinhardt mains. You guys are cool. Doomfist. Now there are a lot of Doomfist mains, considering he's the 4th most played tank in Overwatch 2 right now. Now I don't have an issue with Doomfist mains in general, but here's where the cookie crumbles for me. When your tank picks Doomfist, you're probably going to think, this guy won't swap, he's probably going to be a decent player. And then 1 second later he overextends as soon as he spawns and cries when the supports won't sacrifice their lives to save him and start screaming at the whole team. Doomfist mains are probably the people who see themselves as the main person in every game they step into. They have a strong main character syndrome. They practice rollouts for 3 hours before playing any real games, and as soon as they get into a game they completely forget how to do them. I don't think there's any people who started playing Overwatch in Overwatch 2 that actually mains Doomfist. You're at least not as hardcore as the DPS Doomfist mains were in Overwatch 1. These people are going to be upset and always going to complain that the punch don't one-shot anymore and oh he was so much better before. One thing is obvious for me, Doomfist mains are toxic. They will be in your ear screaming the most horrific things you've ever heard another human say. They'll make you think that the high school bullies are the cutest people in comparison. Advice for that? I don't know, record it and upload a funny YouTube highlight of Doomfist main screaming. Shit, why haven't I done this? By the way, if you're under gold playing Doomfist, I highly suggest you try another tank. You're not gonna get far if your team doesn't understand how Doomfist works. It has nothing to do with you and everything to do with your team. Now, I like Doomfist. I played him a lot, but I'm not a Doomfist main. I'm a Doomfist enjoyer. Therefore, I'm totally not like the people I mentioned above. Orisa. Now, I don't have a lot of good things to say about Orisa mains, so please breathe in some extra copium and listen up. Alright, for me there's only 2 types of Orisa mains. Number 1. You played Orisa since Overwatch 1 and will continue to complain that she was 10 times stronger in Overwatch 1 than Overwatch 2. Making jokes about dropping your drum and unironically saying, "Don't worry guys, I'm going to put my shield up." You're probably not even recognizing how you have that one ability to make the entire enemy team look like they're NPCs. And another ability to cancel pretty much everything, because old is always better. Number 2. You're glazing the new Orisa Mythic skin because you started playing Overwatch in Overwatch 2 and found a little horse that you liked and you didn't have any other skins for her. You probably have a hard time playing tank until you picked up this little horsey and suddenly went up 3 ranks just by running in as a golden megacock and not dying a single time. I know canceling ultis with your spear is cool and all, but it's much cooler if you actually hit it once. Either way, both of these Orisa mains would love to saddle up this horsey and push someone hard against the wall, cancelling all their movements for 10 seconds. I understand you might see Orisa as a grandma taking care of you, because without her, you wouldn't know where you belong. Ramattra. Ramattra mains are scary as hell. When I'm trying to hit my arrows as Hanzo and see a Ramattra running with his fist in the air like a fat guy running to an all-you-can-eat pizza buffet, I literally shit myself. Now, either you're a lore dick rider and love the Ramattra Zenyatta lore and love listening to his voice lines over and over and having his deep, voluptuous, magnificent, sexy voice in your ears. Either way, you're probably pretty good at aiming, but never use your vortex, or you throw punches all the time and never hit a shot with your main gun. D.Va. D.Va mains are, well, alright. Most likely, you're an ego getting pushed by your little meow meow to try out new tanks and won't be settling for anyone that looks like a robot, grandpa, big pig, or a tentacle porn dude. The male D.Va mains are probably the ones I get in my games. Rushing into the enemies to jump out of her mech to emote, and well, either way, you're probably hoping every new game that you will get that sweet 5-man bomb to post to your Discord server because people mock you for being a D.Va main. Sometimes, of course, you get those D.Va that just sits on the enemy team supports with their whole ass of a mech absorbing every ultimate with their defense matrix and carrying the whole team. Now, I just wish that happened to me sometime. Wrecking Ball. If you main Wrecking Ball, I can put some money on the fact that you have a name like Only Balls, or I Play Ball, or Fit These Balls in You, or something like that. And that you never actually call him Wrecking Ball. It's Hamster, Hamter, Rat, or Ball. You're probably quite good on Ball, and have a good game sense, but you have not yet grasped the idea of teamwork. You feel like you make plays, and you do stuff for the team, but you're literally leaving your team without a front line in 90% of your games. Once you got that 5-man grapple knockout, and you're chasing that high ever since, so you make reckless plays filled with copium. When the enemies pick Sombra to counter you, you refuse to change, cause counter doesn't exist. Yet again, filled with copium, forcing your team to just go next. Don't get me wrong, I love playing Ball. For a solid 30 seconds, I'm having the time of my life trying to set up behind the enemies. Then I get completely destroyed and go Orisa. Roadhog. If you main Roadhog, you probably brag to all your friends when you got your first hair on your balls. You're probably complaining all the time about Roadhog being too weak, but you love playing Illari, pulling people to your hole. You hate the Roadhog update because you loved spamming your right click into chokes, hoping for an easy kill, and now you have too many abilities to adjust to. Overall, Road is not good, but he's not bad. If you play Roadhog right now, I actually endorse you. But if you know how to hook and can hit them, you're probably high rank. But if you miss more than 30% of your hooks, I would reconsider who you main. If you're one of those Roadhog who won't miss a single hook, it actually feels like you're playing with your food. And by food, I mean me specifically. Playing a poor little Ana, staying in the backline, having a fat ass pig jump in front of me like I'm PewDiePie 2012 playing Amnesia. I believe you are one of the main reasons people smash their keyboards into pieces after being cooked 10 times in a row. You probably shout out the most random things in team chat for no apparent reason, as you already know you're doing the most this character can provide with, and don't need to say anything important. Now with the recent changes to Roadhog, he's got a lot more people who mains him. These people are not the true Roadhog mains. They haven't been there for the ups and downs. They haven't been there through the hardship, through the Roadhog nerfs, to the Roadhog being trash. You who've been there, you're the real ones. Winston. If you main Winston, well, first, you would never actually call him Winston. Either it's Winton, Monkey, Ape, Winnie the Boop, Easy Winstona. Now, I'd say there's two different types of Winston enjoyers. Let's call number one apes. As you can tell by their name, these are the people who want to have fun playing the game. You love diving into their Widowmaker and just staring them to death as you blast them with actual plasma. It's something you dream of. You'll also probably scream, "Where's the nano boost?" as soon as you die after jumping into all 5 of the enemies. Don't get me wrong, these ape mains are... Wait, let me try speaking in your language. Winton jump, Winton electric, Winton boop, Winton go brrr, Winton smash. Now, the second of these mains are the Winston mains. These people are very skilled at Overwatch, considering that Winston is one of the hardest tanks to play well. So you have a big understanding of healing cooldowns, enemy cooldowns, and of course, Reapers. You probably actually understand his ultimate. You don't do it like me and ult to just jump around. You instead plan out who you're actually ulting and can follow your jumps and your punches. As a Widow and Hanzo enjoyer, I'm scared shitless of you. With that, I also respect you. Ape salute. Sigma. If you play Sigma, you're probably a little bit into roleplaying. You picked him up as he seemed like a combination between Reinhardt and Orisa, and you felt like you were on top of the world. Nowadays, as soon as you ulti, you scream into voice chat, "The universe sings to me!" And after that, write something like, you just got killed by a barefoot mentally deranged man. And you're actually just talking about yourself since you haven't read the Sigma lore. Your hobby as a child was throwing big rocks into the lake, seeing gravity do its job, and making a big splashy splash. Now you found a character who harnessed the entire gravity, and it makes you cream.
What did he say?
Honestly now, being a Sigma main probably means you're pretty good at the game. He's not the easiest hero to master, and definitely in the wrong hands are as shit as chocolate and toothpaste together. Zarya. Now, Zaryas, I know it. You are addicted to damage. You're probably yelling out to your team every other game, check tank diff, look at my damage. Honestly, you're probably pretty good at the game. You're tracking CDs of ultimates and making sure when to bubble to block the most amount of damage, and of course, so you can output the most amount of damage. As soon as you hear Genji shout, you get some electric nerve to simply solo ult him and dance next to it. That's the stuff that makes you cream. While you're very good at the game, most Zarya mains have a massive ego, constantly smack talking your teammates and complaining on diffs. You're probably saying though, if I talk the talk, I walk the walk, but you're still one of the most toxic tank mains in all of Overwatch. Just like Zarya, you probably go to the gym every other day, you're fit, you inject protein powder in your eyes because you want to feel something. Still, you're probably not even lifting more than Zarya does. Mauga. Honestly, I don't really know what to say about Mauga, because as of recording this, he's still pretty new to the game. I would say though, if you've already decided to main this hero, you probably also like watching people suffer purely for enjoyment. As soon as you see the enemy pick Mauga, you know you have to counterpick it. Without that, in my experience, it's usually a guaranteed loss. Being versus a Mauga is basically like when I was little, having my bigger brother repeating 1000 needles for the 100th time on our car rides during the summer. It doesn't matter how tough you are, it's going to be painful. Considering I might be early to your Mauga main addiction, I do have a wish. Please stop, before it's too late. Sincerely, all of Overwatch. Now, thank you guys for watching to the end of this video, and thank you so much for all the love on the previous video. If you haven't seen that yet, I'll link it in the description. I hope you enjoyed my take on DPS mains. If you agree or disagree, please let me know in the comments. Next up is support mains who's gonna get slapped. But until then, bye!